To analyze these developments, I'm now joined by Kamran Bokhari, Director of Analytical Development at New Lines Institute think tank in Washington. Good evening, Dr. Bokhari, and thanks for coming on the program. So you wrote a book about political Islam and democratization. What we're seeing here is the exact opposite. A government that appears to be lacking inclusivity. Do you expect the Taliban's pledges of inclusiveness to hold true?
No, I don't, actually, Stefan. And in my book, I actually predicted this. My book argues that while there is a global push towards democratization, certain countries in the Muslim world are going to be resistant to it. And if there is any democratization, it'll be very, very weak, and it'll be different in each place. And Afghanistan, I didn't expect any democratization to happen, and so that book was written in 2013. As for what's happening now, the Taliban government reflects, a certain Taliban calculus. They are under the impression that they will gain enough engagement with the world where they do not have to show too much of a pragmatic face. This helps them consolidate power, and which is why you see the hardliners in the provisional government that they announced a short while ago.
So talk a little about the thinking behind the latest move of the Taliban. Does the leadership of the Taliban think that it needs to consolidate power? Are they afraid of any opposition, even Islamic opposition?
Yeah, so I don't think they're afraid of any opposition in the sense of an armed group that is a counterweight to them, other than ISIS-K. See, their problem is, and as I argued in my Wall Street Journal piece from a couple of weeks ago, that the Taliban need to be pragmatic in order to do business with the world. But if they become pragmatic or too pragmatic, then they risk losing their ideological fighters who will then go into the welcoming arms of ISIS-K. And so, and this is sort of like the early stages of their comeback, political comeback. They need to be able to, if you will, consolidate power. And this time they don't want even their own pragmatic elements to be playing a major role, much less sharing power with non-Taliban. And this is why you have, the interim cabinet that they announced.
And Dr. Bokhari, one more, and please a brief answer here. What do you see as the biggest danger to the Taliban regime going forward?
I think two things. Number one is their inability to deal with this, society in Afghanistan, which has experienced 20 years of modernization. They're not going to sit down and just accept whatever the Taliban will take. So they need to be able to deliver to the masses in order to be able to keep them happy. The more there's hunger, the more there's poverty, the more there's unemployment, the more unrest they see. And number two is, as I mentioned, ISIS trying to take advantage of their situation. So those are the two forces that I think are the most threatening to the Taliban.
All right, Kamran Bokhari, in Washington. Thank you so much for your assessment here.